Sports Talk of 2023. So we welcome everybody in on this Sunday evening. Hope we get folks caught up on what's happening this week in sports. And we got to be honest, man, we had to really pull out the shovels to try to dig up a few things to kind of discuss and go through. So we're going to expand on some topics and try to keep everybody, keep everybody energized and don't fall asleep on us, folks. We're going to do our best here. If this is your first time here, or first time listening to us, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you're a subscriber, go ahead and hit that like button. It helps out a lot. Hit that notification bell after you subscribe. We really appreciate it. And without further ado, we're going to jump right in. Before I do that, B, how you doing?
I'm good, man. Weekend was good. Finally caught a fish. For once over the last month, I've been getting skunked left and right. So I finally brought home some dinner for my pops and myself. So had some good tasting trout, man. It's nice to eat what you catch and
yeah, it is.
Not taste what you were feeding the fish as well. I couldn't find the worm it ate, so I guess that was a good thing.
Yes, it just ate the hook. It didn't even go for the worm. Forget the worm.
Oh, dude, when I took the hook out, I think I hit like a blood vein or something because it bled out the minute I took the hook out.
God.
I'm not trying to be inhumane or anything like that.
Oh my god. Yeah, folks. I mean, if you're fishing, you're fishing.
Gotta take a hook out of a fish mouth.
Yeah, if you're fishing, you're fishing. You're gonna have to stick a worm. You're gonna have to, bait. You gotta bait your hook. You gotta get out in the water, and when you catch your fish, you're gonna have to cut up a fish. That's just the way it works.
I tell you this though, dude. It was probably the easiest thing I've ever had to clean. You literally just cut it from the gills to its butt and just rip everything out. It all comes out at once, dude. It was perfect.
So, folks, thank you for joining us with B Fishing Show. We got very graphic there for a second, but it's all good. So, oh man, but
How about you, man? How you doing?
Oh man, doing great. I went to my niece's 11th birthday party. It was a nice little pool party we had, so it was a lot of fun. So it was more, for the kids. Had nachos, hot dogs, and soda. I don't get out to drink a lot of soda. It was one of my favorite sodas too. Was Shasta. I don't know if you remember Shasta, man. But if
my teeth are very grateful for Shasta with all that sugar in it.
You got that. It's because of the prices, folks. Not everybody can afford 12 packs of Coca-Cola. But you can sure enough get you some Tiki Punch for $2.99.
Ooh, Tiki Punch. Good call on that one. Hell yeah.
Oh, man. Anyway, all right. So let's get back into it. Obviously, the biggest thing going on in sports this week, at least for most folks, not all, is the NBA Finals. So we did get a chance to get a show off before the finals matchup was put in place. I believe we were right before Game 7, I think, between Boston and Miami. And as you well know, Boston, the air was a little dry, and they begun to choke. And that's exactly what happened. A lot of coughing, hacking, and I feel very bad for every Celtics fan out there. No, I don't. Who had to witness their team come back from 3-0 down to get to a Game 7 only to be blown out in Game 7 on their home floor. I mean...
Oh, it was not even close.
It was atrocious, man. I'm glad it wasn't my team. I know my team got swept, but at least there were 3 pretty competitive games. But the high and low of coming all the way back and then going home and just getting completely obliterated, I don't know what to say about that. B, I don't know. Did you happen to catch that?
The worst... I caught that ass. And the worst part about it too is the Warriors were one game away from getting off the hook for blowing a 3-1 lead. The Heat were very close from being the scapegoat for the Warriors, and then they messed around and won that game. So I was like, well, I guess we're still living that 3-1 nightmare. Yeah. That was atrocious, man. You can't have that performance in Game 7. I'm sorry. And Jason Tatum was again so inconsistent, man. You go from this is where you needed to shine in Game 7.
Yeah,
that's where he needed to be, nowhere to be found. No one from the Celtics team was to be found in that. And not to make fun of the guy, but he brags about his game mirroring one of a Kobe Bryant, and
not even close.
Kobe Bryant would have never had a game like that in Game 7. to say the
Yeah, and
least.
and it's been interesting to for the Leafs to watch this team grow, and it seemed like they were getting over the hump when they made it to the finals last year, but they kind of had the same issue they did against the Warriors, where they played pretty well and they just had a lot of trouble closing games, and when the butts got tight, you needed somebody to step up, and they just didn't have that guy. I have to think that the Celtics go into the offseason thinking we got to make some type of adjustment or change in order to get us over the hump, because guys like Horford are getting old. Marcus Smart is good, but I don't see him as a starter, man. I don't know if he's your starting point guard. And
They got nobody else. That's the problem.
well, they got Malcolm.
Like, there's
They
no
got
one else that
Malcolm
can run.
Brogdon, who was the sixth man of the year. I mean, he might as well have started him. You know,
I mean, yeah.
I mean, I
I don't, but they're probably in the same spot. I don't think Marcus Smart's a guy to give up his starting position to come
that's
off the
true.
bench, to say
I
the
mean,
least.
that's true. That's
I don't
true.
see it in him like that.
That's true. Well, either way, I think the Celtics do need to make some type of roster adjustments in order to get themselves back on track, because obviously Tatum is untouchable, but the rest of those guys, and they gotta they gotta get them some more some more help, especially defensively. Well, no, I won't say that. Marcus Smart is a good defender, but for some reason they just going through these spells of not being able to put the ball in the hole, man. I don't know what's going on. For a team with that much talent, shouldn't be happening like that.
Hey, look, the Heat tied it up.
The Heat have tied up the game, and I am hopeful.
Six.
We're actually gonna jump into our predictions. We actually talked about our predictions prior to the game, so don't grill us, okay? Don't grill us because we're in the middle of the game 2. Giving predictions. Hey, look, we did our job. We talked to each other. We picked our predictions, and we'll jump into that and talk about why we think what we think. So we'll start off with game 1. We'll start off with game 1, and game 1, went as I thought it would. Nuggets came out pretty strong, playing at home in altitude. The Heat coming off game 7, going in, the Heat could not get their shots to fall. They were missing so many threes, and they shot a lot of them too, which they traditionally do. Wasn't really surprised by game 1. I thought, how long was Denver off for? Like a week?
Almost over a week, pretty much.
Yeah. So I mean, they had an advantage there, and they took advantage of it. They got a big lead early. They conceded some of that lead back in the fourth quarter. I think the Heat cut it to 8, but
10. I think it was
8 or 10. Yeah, but then it was too late by then. So, that kind of went the way I expected it. And I gotta say, I'll turn it over to you, but I think Jamal Murray has been pretty consistent, more consistent than we've seen him ever, and really starting to come into his own. Jokic is doing enough, and really, again, it's been about the guys that are around these two guys stepping up. Guys like Brown and Porter and KCP. These guys are
Aaron Gordon.
Aaron Gordon came in there, and for some reason Miami had him matched up against Gabe Vincent and some other small guys, and he just took it all the way to the rim and laid the ball in the hoop.
Yeah.
He did what 80% of Laker fans wish LeBron would do every single game. So, anyway.
Anyways, sometimes I don't understand the Heat, or a lot of teams in the league. I get it; it's a jump shooting league now, but when a team is offering the paint to you as much as it is, like, the Joker's not a blocking center.
Yeah.
He's very slow. He's very flat-footed. So if you get him to the top of the key, it's a drive-by.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I'm not to use those terms like Ja Morant, but you get to the hoop quickly around him. What was happening is as they were cutting that lead down, every time it got to 10, they started chucking threes.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, you guys were terrible from the 3-point line. I would love to see a little more of an aggressive side of Jimmy Butler. I just didn't see it in game 1. Like, a lot of it was forced to the outside to the 3-point shooters, and Duncan Robinson was miserable, to say the least, from the 3-point line. So was Gabe. A lot of their 3-point shooters were just miserable. So at that point, you got to know when to stop and just get to the hoop. And Bam Adebayo had a pretty good game down low.
Yeah.
I'd say it was probably one of his best games in the playoffs so far, and no one followed suit. Like he was scoring on Joker, and he's significantly shorter than him, so it shows that they could have gotten to the hoop easily.
Exactly. And I've been saying that since the Lakers series, man. I just don't understand why guys get all the way to the rim and decide to choke up and shoot the ball out to the 3-point line.
Yeah.
Whenever all you have to do is get it up off the backboard and try to put the ball in the hole. I don't know if Jokic is literally a scarecrow in the middle of the paint. Like he's not gonna block your shot. He's trying to avoid foul trouble. He's just there to just stand there. Jokic is not going to jump high enough to swat your ball out of the sky. He might be able to strip the ball if you keep the ball low, but that's it. So I mean, if you got a head full of steam going towards the rim, I don't see the point in turning around and firing into the 3-point line. It makes a lot more sense. Just go up. Make him defend you. Make him block you. Make him do something. But Jokic has gotten away pretty scot clean, not having to really play any defense most of the playoffs, to be quite honest with you.
Pretty much.
He kind of just stands there. He, kind of backpedals from the free throw line into the paint, puts his hands up, backs up a little bit, and waits for a rebound. I mean, he's looking for the rebound. He's not even looking to block the shot. So I don't understand why teams don't aggressively attack that a lot more. When you get that opportunity, just go ahead and put it up. Force him to block your shot and see if you can get him, or get your body into the big to make a play. I mean, guys have been doing that the entire season. But I guess maybe Jokic is, I don't know, I guess he's a scary guy, man. I don't
know. You've seen the NBA calls that are made for a foul.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you could get that on the line. Like, get to the line.
Yeah.
If your shot's not falling, you got to find a way to get to the line here. And, there's only, I think, I'm not trying to be biased, but there's only one team that's going to live and die by that 3-point line, and that's my team.
Yeah.
The Warriors are just going to shoot themselves into the game, but that's because they have the guys to do it. You look at the rest of the rosters in this NBA nowadays, you got one specialist behind the arc pretty much.
Exactly.
And most of the time they're 3 or 4 threes into it. You're not getting a 10 to 11 3-point game from them. You just don't see that unless they're wearing a Golden State uniform. So they got to get to the hoop, into a shot blocker, make them defend. You're going to get the call. They're calling everything. You breathe on half the players in this league.
Right.
You're getting a foul call. So you might as well just try to live from that.
And I think that players should take note of that. Even if you're a smaller player, don't be afraid to get in there, because Jokic is not – he's trying to avoid getting in foul trouble. He doesn't want to foul you. So if you go ahead and try to create the contact, or at least just go up like you normally would and just play off the backboard, you'll get a chance to score. And so I hope teams start doing that. I think, obviously the league itself is just 3-point drunk, as we know. Shout out to Drunk wherever he is. But it's right? Just like layups are about 80%, man. So shoot more of them. It's just ridiculous.
High volume shots.
High volume layups.
Shots, people.
Yep. Even I can make those. I think I can make a layup.
No, not me. Not me. Only 5'4", man. My stuff's getting sent into the middle deck of the arena there.
Oh man.
Let's talk X Factor, since this is our first time being able to talk about the finals. Yeah. I'll let you start with the Nuggets. Who's your X Factor with the Nuggets?
Well, X Factor with the Nuggets, I think honestly, it's really been about Jamal Murray, man, and just he's been able to help them close out games, and he's been able to help them extend leads whenever teams get close with a lot of his one-on-one, his one-on-one offensive capability. So I think it really is about Jamal Murray. I think Jokic is great, and he's going to do what he's going to do. But, there are going to be these times where the Nuggets, the other guys for the team, the Porters and the Browns and these other guys they're not going to make shots. They're going to start making mistakes. Things are going to get tight. And I think they have to really rely on Jamal to kind of make that big shot to help give them a little breathing room, or help make that big shot to put them in the lead. And so, I think he's definitely the guy that can do that, and is the X factor. If he plays well, then their team is going to play. Their team's going to be pretty tough to beat. But if he's not playing well, then they're going to be open to those dry spells where they can't get the ball in the hole for a couple of minutes.
Exactly. I'm going to go actually with the counterpart to Joker, and that's Aaron Gordon. I think he's going to need to be a little big. He's got to be that rim protector for Jokic if he finds himself hot in a high pick and roll screen there. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you're getting a consistent 20 from two guys. Where can you get the bonus points coming from? And I think that's got to be Aaron Gordon, because quite honestly, when you look at the matchups, it's Kevin Love or Bam Adebayo guarding him.
Right.
And I just don't think Kevin Love has got the defensive capability anymore like he once did. And Bam Adebayo is just, I mean, he's not as athletic as Aaron Gordon. So
yeah.
I think Aaron Gordon, if he could give him 15 points a night, can help the Nuggets kind of win this series here in a heartbeat. But
right.
He's got to also protect Joker when he's nowhere near the rim. That's his territory where he's got to be that shot blocker that he's been accustomed to.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, man, I think, this would be an interesting matchup, and as a Laker fan, I don't want to see the Nuggets win the championship, but obviously I understand how good they are as well after the beating that unfortunately my team took. So the other thing that we can talk about too is the fact that is there a chance that Tyler Hero returns in this series? I mean, they talked about him being close for this game. However, he didn't make it. So maybe there's an opportunity he'll play in Game 3, which they'll probably need him in Game 3 or Game 4, if they can possibly pull out a win here. I think that'll go a long way, too, in giving some of that one-on-one, offense that they're really only getting from Jimmy Buckets right now.
Yep.
Yeah, because... Go ahead, B.
I don't see Tyler Hero really making that big of an impact because he's been away for so long.
Yeah.
And he's got to step into this pressure cooker. I don't see it being too good for the Heat. They might as well just run what they have. How valuable is Tyler Hero going to be after missing, almost 2 months of basketball?
Yeah. I mean, it gives you another shooter, man, as long as he can still dribble and shoot. You know what I mean? I mean, the hard part will be definitely him playing, the minutes and then playing defense. But if you really just need buckets, then you need him out there, because when those threes aren't falling, because they're relying really heavily on some of these guys to knock down shots, they look abysmal. You know what I mean? Like they don't look like they are capable of keeping up with the scoring of the Nuggets. But when those threes are going, oh man, all of a sudden they look like they can't be beat, which we saw against the Celtics. So, I'm just, we're curious to see if they can get the guy going. Right now, Miami has cut the lead to 3. So they're making it a little bit of a game right now. And that brings up another guy, Jimmy Buckets, who, what was it, Himmy Buckets, or what was he trying to call himself now?
Himmy Buckets.
Himmy Buckets. He's another guy who, when you can get him going, can really light it up. But he's also one of those guys that can kind of shrink back a little bit too. As much as I like Jimmy Butler and as well as he's played, a lot of his career has been sort of this thing where he's kind of been that guy, and he's showed you some great things, but he also has those games where he kind of falls back a little bit. So I think they need in order to beat an offensive team like this, as good as the Heat are defensively, they're going to have to be extremely, and you talked about it earlier, extremely aggressive on the offensive end. And that's why we talked earlier about getting to the rim as opposed to taking so many threes. Not to say that they're going to take a crap ton of threes either way, but whenever the opportunities are there, don't let the Nuggets defenders off the hook. Try to force them and get to the rim, and like you said earlier, get to the foul line, because that's also going to be a good help, a big help offensively against the best offensive team in the league, pretty much.
Yeah, and Jimmy Butler's got a great mid game too, and he can get to the bucket at any point when he needs to. He's very slippery to the rim, to say the least.
Yeah.
But it's just that 3-point line just dooms the Heat. But he's got to go get a bucket when needed. Like right now is a valuable time. They're down 3. There's no need for a 3-pointer. Go get 2.
Right. Yeah. He just
and put the pressure on the Nuggets here. So he just took a 3.
Yeah. So right.
It's like it's not needed right now.
Right.
Get to the hoop, man.
Yeah,
And Joker came out on that high pick and roll too.
attack him.
So the the lane was open for you there. You gotta expose that pick and roll there.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I believe Jimmy Butler's just got to be a little more aggressive to the hoop and with that mid game to open up that 3-point line for him because then he'll see a little more of a consistency there.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and that's a great example. I mean, in real time, watching the game, what we just talked about is going into fruition. Now there he goes, getting to the rim, but see that's what I mean. Cody Zeller just got up a bucket over Jokic for a layup. This is what I'm trying to explain. Is like if you just put the ball up. You can't be afraid of him blocking you. He's not going to block your shot. So just go ahead and put it up there.
His hands didn't even go up near the ball.
Yeah, because he doesn't want to foul. He's so important to their offense. Good. Yeah, see, he's so important to their offense. Yeah, he's not trying to get in foul trouble. You know what I mean? This guy found the Serbia jersey. All right.
Poor Zeller. And then he's got to guard him on the trip down. Now. My God.
Oh,
dude,
man.
Where's Kyle Lowry been?
Dude, he's been like... he just made a three. Shut up, B. He just knocked down a three.
Dude, I'm just...
Yeah, but I'm just saying. He's been absent.
A guy with this much experience,
yeah,
he's got to be a little more assertive, to say the least.
I agree. Oh, good steal by Lowry and a dumb pass.
I think you're like 10 seconds ahead of me here.
Bad. I'm sorry. I'll be quiet.
No, you're good.
But yeah, man, he was kind of a no-show in the last series too. Just take him, Lowry. What are you doing? Oh wow. See, that's what I'm talking about. You talk about veteran moves, and you'll see in a couple of seconds here. You got the ball with Jokic on. You just drive by him and shoot the layup. Somehow they give him.
They really called that an offensive foul.
They really did. They basically Jokic flopped.
Are you serious?
They called Kyle Lowry for an offensive foul on Jokic for pushing him off.
Oh come on! You gotta be kidding me, man. So you know what that brings us? I'm glad we're talking about this live and whatnot because the NBA is talking about it being really strict on this flopping stuff. That right there was a prime example on why they need to cut this shit out. Because how is Kyle Lowry going to move the Joker that much to draw an offensive foul? That's ridiculous,
and then
right
on
there,
the other
man.
end, Cody Zeller tries to bang with Jokic and gets called for the offensive or for the foul. So it's just one of those things where. They're in Denver, man. I mean, they're gonna get some calls, dude. They're not gonna give Denver calls in their home floor.
I get that, but that's not even it. Jokic is initiating the contact.
Yeah, right.
He's initiating that contact. Right. So what is Cody Zeller supposed to do?
He's just trying to hit back
and
to stay in the same place. It's just like when guys used to play against Shaq. You have to hit. Yeah. You have to hit back just to stay in the same position. You're not hitting back because you're trying to foul. You're just trying to because they're so big. Oh man, poor Cody Zeller.
How is that not an offensive foul with the way he's lowering his shoulder into the opponent like that?
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That could be an offensive foul.
Well, I think when you bang, you just got to let them bang, especially when they're both 7 feet tall. I mean, there's no reason to call it. If he's hitting me and I'm hitting him back because I'm trying to keep my balance, then I don't know why Jimmy doesn't just attack the rim, man. He's doing some weird stuff.
Dude, there's not a guy on the floor for Denver that's gonna work. Oh, what in the world was that?
That's what I said. Like, I mean, I don't know what's going on, but it's like when guys are going towards the rim, they're really just kind of losing their grip. It's like just keep the ball one and try to make something happen. Jimmy tried to pass the ball, or I don't know what that was. The ball just slipped, and now the Heat.
I don't even know.
Yeah, the Heat are watching their chances slip away here by letting guys get to the free throw line and on the offensive end just being really, really sloppy. That they keep bringing Jokic out on that high pick and roll, but they're not doing anything to actually attack it.
No, they just Jokic just got 30.6 rebounds, 3 assists, a quarter of a block shot. Like, come on, man. You guys, they gotta get to him.
I don't know, man.
Just go right into him.
Yeah, Jimmy caught the ball, was above the 3-point line, and he kind of did this false motion like he might shoot or something. But against this team, the moment you have that advantage, you should be getting downhill immediately. And now you've watched your 3-point lead just kind of disappear, and now they're up 8. And here you are in a position. Oh, that was dumb. You missed him.
Jesus. At least he can't make his free throws consistently. Dude, I miss the NBA Finals on the court, like the old script writing.
Yeah. What the heck?
Not this.
More.
Not this.
More threes.
Look at this. There are 4 guys behind the 3-point line.
Yeah.
Why?
And then here comes Jokic. He's gonna back them all the way down and probably shoot it too.
Oh shit! This is just terrible basketball by the Heat right now. I just don't get it. You got 4 guys who are not even decent 3-point shooters behind the line. The only guy even close to the paint is Bam Adebayo, and he's nowhere near the paint.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't understand why there's such a hesitation. And I get it, guy. You got guys on the team that are still pretty good defensively, but in my opinion, if you catch that guy, Jokic has been caught on Kyle Lowry, and Kyle Lowry kind of has to think about it. It's like, bro, just go. I mean, you know what I mean? Just go by him. You think what's he gonna do? You know what I mean? He's very slow footed. Just give him one crossover and try to get to the rim. And it's just, I don't know. Guys they're overthinking it. They're really overthinking it.
Well, while it's a commercial break, let's talk predictions.
Yeah.
We both gave our predictions on a phone call. We'll start with you, T.
Yeah,
what's your prediction for this finals?
A lot of this is just me being bitter, but I'm gonna take the Heat. I'm going to take the Heat in 7. That's my pick. Obviously, it's going to take a monumental effort from them because they have to be able to punch with the Nuggets, who offensively are, again, one of the best offensive team in the league, really. So they're going to have to find a way to keep up. And the one thing they could do that is by, again, staying aggressive, getting to the free throw line, and playing good defense. So far, they've been reluctant to do that. They've been relying completely on 3-point shots. But the hope is that they kind of pick that up a little bit and really, really, really get really relentless about attacking the rim and attacking the defenders and try to get guys in foul trouble and just live in the lane a little bit before you start kicking it around the 3-point line for threes. B, what you got or who you got?
I'm the same way. I'm taking the Heat in 7, but that's only because they got to finish the job. You go from being in the very last play-in tournament game to making it to the NBA Finals. There was no shortcutting it. They did play some of the best teams that the East had to offer, to say the least, and basically ran through them. I can't bet against the Heat, man. Like, I'm sorry, there's nothing to it. You hit on all the good points on what the Heat need to do to take this series, but right now, you and I watching the way that third quarter ended, that's not gonna win it for you guys, to say the least.
Yeah, man, guys get lazy with that 3-point shot, man. It just drives me crazy. The Lakers did the same thing, dude. It's like we go to the rim the entire game, and then when it's time to either take the lead or tie, it's like, oh, let's shoot a 3. It's like, no, let's not shoot a 3. And
how about a backdoor cut to give yourself 2 easy points for a 1 point deficit?
Get some movement, movement going, and try to create something or create a high percentage shot. And that's what you don't see as much of anymore, is guys looking or plays being called to produce high percentage shots. It's just guys standing around, guys are staring at each other, and eventually some guy just chokes up a 3. And just throws the ball up there. So anyway, what a load of garbage. So we're gonna keep our eye on the game, folks, but we're also gonna kind of continue through some of the things we want to cover. NBA wise, we'll kind of stick with the NBA throughout most of the show since the NBA finals are going on, and obviously folks are paying attention to that.
Are they?
Yeah. That, you know what? I'm glad you brought that up, because. Let's talk about that a little bit. Can we put to bed the idea that the league is rigged?
Bury that thing.
Can we bury that?
You're kidding me, man.
Because every time the Lakers beat someone, it's like, oh, they're calling fouls for the Lakers. They're rigged. The Lakers are going to the finals, and the Celtics are going. It's going to be, the league would have absolutely loved to have the Celtics and the Lakers in the finals, folks. The league, there is nothing more. There isn't that's Adam Silver's wet dream, is to have the Lakers and the Celtics in the NBA Finals this year. Would have been great. However, as we saw, that did not happen. It instead is two teams that only the two cities that they play in really care about, to be quite honest with you. That's the Miami Heat and the Denver Nuggets. So yeah. I think we can put that to bed. Now, the next question is, B, when this is all said and done, is this going to be one of the worst viewership that we'll see for the finals, you think?
Outside of Miami and Denver, yes. Probably about for every 3,000 households, one of them's got the NBA Finals on.
Yeah.
You and I are part of that 1 in 3,000 households, to say the least.
Right,
there.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, the NBA is going to take a hit with this, but it's nice to see two different teams, going at it for a championship. Like, you really need to appreciate something like that. You got a team that is working to get their 4th championship and won for the first time in team's history. So it's got a little bit of an intriguing story to it. Do the players stand out that go, "Oh, I'm watching him"? No, I'm not. I guarantee you, if we went to the grocery store and said, "What are you watching the NBA Finals for?"
Yeah,
there's no real answer to that.
You're right.
Oh, it's on because it's on ABC,
yeah,
right? That's all it is.
Yeah.
You're not name dropping a player.
Right.
Like I'm watching it to see Jimmy Butler versus Jokic.
Yeah, right. And of course,
but I'm not getting that right now.
Jokic is the big name, obviously, but not most folks who aren't following the NBA closely are going to know most of these people, and that's why that's why I said we know the NBA is in a rig, because I'm sorry, LeBron James and Tatum and all that, AD and all those people, that's much more. That's much more of a better matchup. Even if the Warriors had somehow made it to the finals this year, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, the drama.
Oh my God!
The drama.
They went to the rim.
The drama of Draymond Green. I know, right?
No, it's very rare that they're doing this. It caught me off guard.
Well, there's no shot blocker in the game. I mean, you got Green back there pretty much playing the center spot. Aaron Gordon can do a little bit, but not much. And so
that was Duncan Robinson.
Yeah.
On Jamal Murray.
Hey man, I'm telling you, I've been saying this the whole time. The Nuggets one-on-one defenders are not very good.
No, none of them.
They're not very good.
Terrible.
They're not very good. And okay, and then they got the ball again here. But yeah, Duncan Robinson feeling himself. Oh my goodness. Right? Oh my goodness. He is feeling himself. And it's a 2-point game, folks. Duncan Robinson with his own 5-0 run to bring it to 2.
Hey, can we? Jesus Christ. They all have the same jersey on.
Who's that? Oh,
those dudes standing in the back. There were like 6 guys in a row all wearing the same jersey. What the hell?
Hey,
can we talk about Tyler Hero's outfit? Looks like a kid who got dressed in the dark and went to high school.
Man,
look, terrible, man.
We could do a whole segment about how the NBA's fashion choices are just utterly atrocious. From James Harden wearing the Grimace outfit we talked about last week, to Kyle Kuzma wearing some abnormally long sleeves on a knit sweater. I mean, I don't know what these dudes is doing. And then Russell Westbrook always walking up with either no shirt on or a crop top. Dude, I'm utterly confused about what's happening.
You know what we should do is we should bring on a fashion expert and just do an NBA.
We are the fashion experts. All I gotta do, we just gotta get photos. We just gotta find the photos, put the photos up. And we're just going to cook them.
Post-NBA show like that. That'd be the end of the year.
Yeah, just cook them. It doesn't matter. We're just going to talk about them all the time. That's what we're going to do. And just have fun with them.
Nikes.
Oh, man.
What were we just talking about? We just went completely off topic.
Who cares, man? Yeah, I think we got sidetracked because we were talking about the viewership for the finals this year. But really, we kind of got through that conversation. I think the next thing we were going to jump into is, before we get into all of the NBA news, is to talk specifically about your team, because we might be looking at the end of an era. If folks who don't know, I'm sure Warriors fans know, Bob Myers has decided to step away. Of course, he didn't renew his contract. And now that he is, I'm not sure if he's going to make himself available to be GM somewhere else, but he is no longer with the Warriors. And so Bob Myers has been integral in putting together this championship team. The drafting of Klay Thompson and Draymond Green, and putting together a lot of veteran signings that were very pivotal. The Sean Livingstons and of the world who came in, and Leandro Barbosa, and to name a few. They've had some great vets come in and make some great impact good impact on their team. So kudos to them, man.
It was coming because they had all year to sign him to an extension. Just something wasn't right, when he wasn't looking for that extension, to say the least.
Yeah.
If he wanted to be a part of the organization and keep this dynasty running, there would have been Joe Lacob's not one to shy away from cutting a check real quickly to make sure that this core stays together. So when it was ongoing and was getting towards the end, you knew something was up. And we talked about it during the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think it all weathered to how the Warriors did in that postseason.
Right.
And to see how far they were going to go. I think if the Warriors would have made the conference final or even be in these finals right now,
right.
I think he stays. I think he stays to help build that. But because they got bounced the way they did in that second round, he's like, I think my time is done, at least for what he can do. And when you look at it, dude was pretty successful, to say the least, with being here in Golden State.
Extremely.
And not a lot of GMs could really say that. And he came into an organization where we've never really had a successful GM. Chris Mullin was our GM at one point.
But give him credit though. He was also at the beginning of the turn as well, and he's credited for drafting your boy. He drafted Steph Curry.
I do give him that, but he didn't. I mean, Bob Myers took it to a different level with evaluating talent, and that's going to be the tough thing for the Warriors now.
Yeah.
Is who are you going to trust with building this roster now? They're thinking about handing the reins off to Joe Lacob's son. What?
A
guy with no basketball experience.
This is one of the things I hate the most. Is like, just because you're rich doesn't mean you're rare. You know what I mean? Just because you're maybe he's trying to do the Laker thing with the Bus. You know how the Bus family did. Obviously, Dr. Bus got his kids involved, but they were involved early. Jeannie Buss was a part of ticket sales back in the 80s. Okay, so it's not like it was all of a sudden. But even for the Lakers, we hired general managers that had expertise. We had guys like Jerry West, Mitch Kupchak, to name a couple of ones we had for the longest, to be honest. We didn't just hire Jerry Buss's son, although he did come in and do it for a short while. But yeah, I don't like that idea at all, dude. I don't like that. I feel like just because you're rich, again, that doesn't mean anything. It's not like Joe Lacob is some type of long-time basketball guy or something. Like he played basketball or his managed. I mean, he just bought the thing. You know what I mean? And so I really think this is one of those, rich parent type. I don't like it at all, man. I don't like that at all.
And look, we're not saying that Bob Myers was some standout basketball player.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't. But he wasn't the owner's son.
Game. Yeah, he knew what to look for here. Now there is also talks. Oh Jesus, Miami.
That's what happens when you go the hole. There's nobody to block you. Where was Jokic on that play? Duncan Robinson has figured out what no other team that has played this team could figure out. If I simply just go to the rim, nobody will block me. I can shoot layups. Why is he the first person to realize this? It's driving me crazy. I watched the Lakers do this for 4 games. Just go to the rim. Who cares if they try to block you? Oh my God. Duncan Robinson. Good job, my friend.
Thank you for showing what a backdoor cut looks like.
Yeah, you're exactly. Movement.
I didn't think we were going to see one all night.
Right. They should be doing them every game.
Talks of Mike Dunleavy Jr. taking over that role too, and that wouldn't be a bad idea.
Yeah.
Because it's a guy who was in the league, understands what it takes, but he's got that basketball knowledge, and that's what you want when you're assessing a team. You don't want a guy who's never been a a part of organizational sports before.
Right.
Constructing your roster.
Right.
No, I can't do that. So I mean, Mike Dunleavy Jr. wouldn't be a bad replacement, but in all honesty, you can't. Whoever takes over Bob Myers, you can't expect the same thing from him. You
No.
really can't.
And
So
yeah.
just be patient with it.
Yeah, yeah, and I almost am. I'm almost am thinking, if I am the new GM, let's say I come in, I'm Mike Dunleavy Jr. Do I really want to keep the same thing? You know, I think sometimes when you hop into something new, you want to try to make it your own. So I suspect that the Warriors will definitely see some changes. Look for trade opportunities. Start thinking more like a win now team. And they kind of did this thing where they tried to be a 2-3 year span team after that one bad season by picking up all this young talent. But unfortunately, that talent is not on the same timeline as Steph Curry. So I think it's time for them to. This is the situation where you got to go for broke, and you got to say.
Well, you got to find that balance between your young talent and veteran talent there, because there's no balance right now. It is all young talent behind those three.
Yeah.
They got to find a few veterans to kind of even that out, to keep these guys on track. Because right now, that veteran leadership on the bench is what is needed, not on the court. You'll get that on the court with your core, but on the bench, there's got to be a veteran presence there. And right now, there isn't. Your guy is Andre Iguodala. It didn't work.
He can't even play anymore, man. He doesn't even play, man. He's one step away from being Udonis Haslem. So I don't. That's not gonna happen. But I agree with you.
He retired. He's done.
But here's what I think. Yeah, he did. But like I say, he's one step away. He should retire. Actually, where's the announcement? Hasn't it come out already? In any case, look, dude. I think what you guys need to do is take any and all assets you have, pick up the phone, call the Timberwolves, and try to see if you can poach Big Cat. I think that's the move that you guys need to make. I know you want to get like a veteran presence and all that, but I got to be honest with you. I don't know if veteran presence is going to necessarily help. You guys need a full-on kick in the butt. You know, you guys need a little bit of life. And right now...
Antetokounmpo.
He's not coming. He's not going anywhere. Stop saying that.
Because I'm just saying that.
Please, NBA. Don't nix that deal, NBA. If it comes, nix it like you did the Lakers when we tried to get Chris Paul. Just nix it. Nix the deal. Oh man. Anyway, B. Oh look, they called an offensive foul on Jokic for running someone over. How about that? This game's getting interesting, folks. Up by 3. The Heat. Let's see, have they discovered the magic? Oh, and another bad foul by Jokic. Wow. That's 2 fouls in a row.
He slapped him out of bio on the forehead.
And folks, that's what happens when he tries to defend. See, I've been telling you the whole time. Make him defend.
He's gonna slap you. That's what ends up happening.
Oh, and another foul. Jeez, the Nuggets defenders are struggling to find air. They don't know what they're doing anymore. I don't even know what that was.
Jesus.
What was that?
Oh, God.
So, Gabe Vincent comes around the screen.
Vincent.
And KCP...
He got shot.
KCP puts his hand in the cookie jar and fouls him on the waist and almost got karate kicked in the face there. Whoa.
He should have made it look like he choke slammed him, man. He was nowhere near him.
Yeah, well, he got his hand in the cookie jar. That's what they called him for. Did they call it a 3-point or was that just a 2?
It was an off-ball foul.
Got it. So we're definitely getting some.
Miami's already in the bonus with 9 minutes left. Take advantage.
It's the fourth quarter, folks. This is a huge game. If you're Miami, this game is going to go a long way. Oh, what a interesting pass there, Jokic. Oh man, Jokic is. What was that?
But you see what I'm saying though? Live at the line.
Yeah.
Get to the hole. Because if 3 minutes into the fourth quarter and you find yourself in the bonus already, don't stop. You got to keep the pressure on.
And the Nuggets are famous for giving up a little bit in the fourth quarter. They've done this many times. And guys like Jokic start to get a little tired once we get into the fourth as well. So you got to continue to attack, like you said.
Jesus, now Denver's gonna find themselves in the bonus real quick,
Yeah,
dude. This fourth quarter is about to be 2 hours long.
yeah, I'm telling you, and that's on Adebayo.
Oh.
He tried to block the shot, but he got his arm.
Here's the one thing I don't think a lot of people understand when guarding Jokic. As long as you stay in front of him and put your hands up, Draymond's caused trouble for Jokic, and he is well undersized to say the least.
Well, because he can get under him. That's the thing that smaller
Yeah,
guys that are stronger, they have leverage. I remember one of my favorite players to see that it used to happen to him all the time was, you remember Derek Fisher with the Lakers. They would try to
yeah.
post Derek up because he was the smallest player on that team. But Derek was so low and so strong that you couldn't move him. So then once guys get up underneath you and they can't move you, even if they try to face up, you're literally underneath their shooting elbow. So it makes them
Holy
uncomfortable.
shit! Another pick and roll cut. Oh man, working. It's working
Yeah.
for Denver. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you
Well,
off
no.
there.
Well, you got to make them work. That's what we've been saying, right? If you make these defenders pretend to be the defenders that they aren't, and then you'll start to get some open looks. Oh my goodness.
Miami's starting to figure it
Yeah,
out
they're
right
using
now.
that amoeba zone again. That have you seen that thing, dude?
Yeah.
What is that, man?
What in the world? Never mind. I take it
Now
back.
you're ahead of me now. You're
Why?
ahead of me now. What happened? Start shooting threes again? Yeah, there it is. Yeah, they gotta remember. That's what I hate about watching the NBA these days. It's like, come on, man. Your team's on a run. You can't give points back. Because once you start giving
No,
points back, this team can put up points on you. They can put up points in a hurry.
I don't know why they just don't run. There's not a guy on there that can keep this pace moving. You got to tire Jokic out. Get him out of the game.
Yeah, no, that's what they have to do. And I think that shot by Gabe Vincent was an ill-advised contested three, which
Oh, that was
so my
terrible.
my least favorite shot in the game of basketball, the hated contested 3-point shot. Here comes Jimmy buckets.
I would say unfortunately, I can't get upset about a contested three because there's one guy
Yeah,
that
okay.
makes most of them, so I don't complain about that. Except when I'm watching it on another team. Like there's too much standing around, man.
Yeah,
This
there
is
goes
oh
Porter
boy.
with a three. Guys, butts are getting a little tight because we're in the fourth. Let's see if Miami can get some going. Jimmy, you got to get to the rim, buddy. You got Jamal Murray on you. Oh, what was that?
Just turned it over.
Wow.
Let's talk about real quickly here. Adam Silver addressed the media prior to game
Yeah.
one. Obviously it's like the state of the league kind of thing on what to expect for the coming year, all this other nonsense. But he did mention, or a reporter asked him about the John Morant situation,
Mm-hmm.
and Adam Silver said he didn't want to discuss what's going to happen because he didn't want to take away from these NBA finals. Although it probably should have been said because they probably would have. Oh, I'll let you see what happens.
Yeah.
Although it probably would have drawn an audience had he said something. But he did mention that there was additional information found about Ja Morant,
Mm.
and there is a pretty big punishment headed your way.
Did you see the lady with the high five in front of Terrell Davis? I'm sorry, I had to say that.
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
I was waiting for you to see it.
Oh, my bad, B. That was hilarious. This lady this Heat fan high fives in front of Denver great Terrell Davis. That was amazing. Oh man. Anyway, yes. So yeah, go. My bad, B. Go ahead. Adam Silver.
Good. So I've had some time to think about it, and you know what's funny? Like if it was just a pretty standard punishment, this would have been dropped already.
Yeah, correct.
To say the
Right.
least. This is going to be a pretty big punishment headed his way. What do you
Oh wow.
envision for a 9 mil Morant?
Well, I think that this being his second time doing it, they're gonna have to be a lot more heavy-handed because one, it makes the league and the leadership of the league look stupid because they gave him a chance, right? So now it's like, hey, Ja,
Dude, I don't think they gave him a chance. They just allowed him to talk.
they slapped him on the wrist, basically.
Yeah.
And by doing so, what they did was they said, "Okay, John, we believe in you, we trust you," and then they got kicked in the face. So I think at this point, I think Ja has to miss at least half of a season, at least, and I think he's already lost Nike, and he's gonna lose some other endorsements as well. But yeah, I think they suspend him for half a season. I think that's what we might be looking at, especially if these quote unquote additional information ends up being something that has to do with that the ownership of that weapon or what county he's in and all other whatever other kind of
or
law.
the ownership of the first weapon.
Correct.
That
correct.
ownership of the first weapon.
Not only the ownership, but where was it? Ooh, terrible foul there. Did it make it into a locker room? Remember we talked about that, because remember that club scene was after a game on the road.
Yeah.
And so did somehow that gun make it on the team plane? Was it in any team location? On the team bus? Like, there's a lot of investigation I'm sure they're going to get into. And so, yeah, this he's not, he's dumb. We already said that, so.
Calling for an indefinite suspension.
Indefinite. Okay.
I'm calling it until he proves himself that he's changed.
Right.
And he's not going to be able to play basketball until that change is made. Yeah. I mean, look, we talked about it early this year. Kyrie Irving got dropped by Nike for something that was said from a fucking movie. Oh,
for bad. A movie. He retweeted. He just retweeted it. He didn't say anything.
Retweeted from a movie. Right. To say the least. And that's not even real life. This is real life stuff that Ja Morant put out there for the world to see. And so you can't just sit there and we all were like, dude, 8 games? You mean to tell me you got good in therapy for a week?
Right.
Like, get out of here with that.
Right.
Memphis screwed up. They had every opportunity to handle this in-house to say, look, until we're ready for you to come back and you change, can't have you playing basketball. That should have been the initial punishment. Instead, they said, oh, he's been to therapy for a week? Well, he's good. You don't know that.
Dude, I already told you.
Sessions from his house for all we know.
I saw the purple dread, I knew and nothing had changed.
So now Adam Silver really needs to drop the world on Ja Morant. So there's a stand on this, because you trusted the club. They didn't do what they needed to do. And so now you as a commissioner, you need to put your foot down.
Wow. Sorry.
No, I missed it.
Big dunk by Adebayo for the and one on a pick and roll with Jokic involved. What? They ran a pick and roll.
For the pick and roll.
Look at that.
Look at that. What? Don't say.
Thank you,
Michael Porter
Eric
Jr.
Spoelstra.
had no chance.
Thank you, Eric Spoelstra, for recognizing that this team cannot defend at the rim. I've been saying it for the whole Lakers series. I'm glad somebody figured it out. Anyway, but getting back to Ja Morant, dude, I unless he comes back with a bald head and starts, I got to see the guy doing some yoga. You know what I'm saying? I got to see him in church, something. Because, the fact that he spends his time hanging out with these people who obviously don't have his best interest in mind, I'm sorry, he's not going to be in the league for much longer. I'm just being just straight honest with you. If he doesn't figure this out, he might as well forget it. He might as well forget it. He might as well take his money, bundle it up, find the biggest toilet he can find, and flush.
Oh, a pick and roll. Oh, never mind. Sorry. There was chances of them get. Oh, Bam Adebayo, get up.
Bam again. Oh, nah.
Oh, that's not even goaltending. He caught that at the peak.
Yeah. No, he got. Yeah, it was close, but it was close. But you know what?
I can live with that.
You're down. What are you gonna do, Nuggets? You gotta score points.
But yeah, I can't. Hopefully these NBA finals end quickly so we know what happens to Mr. Morant there.
Yeah.
Oh, I cannot wait. I hope he's suspended indefinitely.
Yeah.
It sucks to say it, but sorry, dude. You've earned that. You've earned that right to get suspended for the rest of the year here.
Yeah.
Talk about some coaches getting hired here. The Suns hired Frank Vogel, which is I think, a pretty good move for them.
If
Say
they
the
want to play
least.
defense, sure. I mean, Frank's not an offensive guy at all, but they do have a lot of offensive talent, so it might make sense. Hopefully he can help them be a better defensive team because that's really what Frank Vogel brings to the table.
Yeah. Well, and when he was coaching the Lakers, Dwight Howard wasn't too bad as a defender for Frank Vogel.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah, and so I think this. Hopefully, he helps Aiden because Aiden hasn't shown a lick of defense, to say the least. So I think that's going to help him.
I think that's where I see the problem is.
How do you have a guy that big and can't play defense?
Frank Vogel's defense is predicated on basically streaming or funneling the wings or offensive wings into the center to really clean up everything. That's why it works so well for us because at the time we were playing JaVale McGee and AD on the court at the same time. I don't know if people remember that. So our offense, we were just not letting people shoot threes, giving up the middle a little bit and forcing them to get to a rim where you had 2 7-footers waiting on them. He did the same thing with Roy Hibbert back with the Pacers. So you're right, B. Your boy Aiden is going to have to step his game way up because the requirement that, Vogel asks a lot of a center on the defensive end of the ball, and Aiden has yet to show any promise on the defensive end.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is where you need Jimmy B to win the game for you. Oh, and he missed.
Nope, Caleb Martin.
Wow.
Big time bucket.
Wow, Nuggets.
And wow, indeed.
Interesting.
The 76ers hired Nick Nurse, which if I'm Embiid or James Harden, I'm like, who?
I mean, Nick Nurse is a great coach. He's a championship winning coach. I mean, with Kawhi Leonard, but he's not a bad coach.
he ain't done much since.
Yeah, I don't know how the vets are going to receive that, to be honest with you, because you're right. I mean, you're looking at two guys who are pretty much they're in the height of their career right now. James Harden is on his way down that hill. You know what I mean? And so you got James Harden going downhill on that trajectory, and you got Embiid kind of getting to the place to where this is kind of the best he'll be over these next 2 to 3 years. Yeah, man, you got to make something happen. You got to make something. And that doesn't help that neither one of these guys was good in Game 3. What the heck was that? It doesn't help that neither one of these guys was good in Game 7. They both were absolute hot garbage, although they needed to win Game 6, honestly, to win that series. And the Heat start shooting threes again. Oh, my God. Here we go.
Wait till you see what happens. Wait till you see what happens. It's coming down the court.
Yeah, man.
But, yeah, I'm puzzled by that. You had pretty good coaching options to go to, and Nick Nurse was high on your priority. Even Frank Vogel would have been good with the 76ers.
Yeah.
There's a little more talent in Philadelphia as far as bench-wise that would have helped them out compared to what's in Phoenix right now, because Phoenix is banking on their starters. They don't have a bench, and they can't afford one now.
Yeah. And I just don't like I don't know how I feel about Harden. I feel like big game situations and plays where Harden is being asked to play in the playoffs and be the best player in the playoffs, he's been hot garbage, man. And this has been going on the better part of, I want to say, what would you say, be about 7 or 8 years? I mean,
I would say so.
In the playoffs,
since his Houston days.
Yeah, exactly. In the playoffs, he's been he hasn't been the best player. Even in the season when he won the scoring title. I mean, the guy was on top of the world. But in the playoffs, he just hasn't been that guy. So
why Miami? Sorry, why?
Because they can't help themselves, just like the rest of the league, man.
You're up 6. There was no need for it. Oh my God,
dude!
This a terrible shot.
This is the type of stuff I talk about when I talk about today's NBA. Man, is nobody understands time and possession anymore. Nobody knows that when we're up by 8.6 points now, we don't need to shoot a 3. We just need to hold the ball until 5 seconds is left on the clock and get something in and around the rim. That's why you got Jimmy Butler on your team for. You lose this game, I'm telling you, you're probably not going to win the series. You got to get this game.
That's what I'm saying, though. Like, there's no court awareness.
Yeah. You
got 24 seconds. Use 22 seconds to find the best shot.
3-point game.
Don't force anything. Yep. Now they got to play play all sorts of situations. They had a 9-point lead just now, and they just
What's funny is Jimmy Butler knocked down an easy 2 early on, and they never went back to that play. They just started shooting threes out their butt for no good reason.
Duncan Robinson tried to shoot a Steph Curry 1-footer.
Oh, that's a foul.
It was nowhere near it.
Hard foul. Hard foul by KCP there to get Bam's got to make these free throws for sure. But yeah, this is what happens. They can't box out, and guys are getting second opportunities at 3-point shots, and you can't do that against the Nuggets. They're gonna hit threes. But yeah,
it's all that coaching.
And the only ones we'll talk about. I'm not gonna talk much about it. Monty Williams goes to Detroit, which pretty much is.
There ain't nothing to talk about over there.
He probably should have just took the year off. He should have just took the year off. Honestly.
He should have waited for another job to open up.
Yeah, I mean, Monty's probably.
I wouldn't mind seeing Mark Jackson go to Detroit. I think that'd have been a good fit.
Yeah, it's just Mark Jackson is advanced in age, and I don't know if he's ready to take on a task. Because let's be honest, that team is 5 years away. I won't say 5. In the East, let's say they're
10.
They're about 3 to 4 years away from being a contender. And if you're a coach like Monty, who is just coaching at the top of his game, coaching the finals, I don't know if I'm Monty if I want to take over that team. You know what I mean? I don't get that.
Neither do I. Here's things of what I don't get and why Shannon Sharp stays so long at undisputed, but he's FS1 or Fox bottom out. Through I think all the troubles he had with Skip Bayless, and I'm happy that Skip Bayless there's something about him where he just can't keep somebody on the show with him.
Yeah, because
he's an
a-hole, man.
Really outrageous things, man, and they allow him to get away with it. Like ESPN just allowed it for too long.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ, yo. Now you got to defend the 3-point. I hope Jamal Murray makes this now.
He shot another 3 for no apparent reason, huh?
Wow. I'll wait till you see the back end of this one.
I already know, man. That's what happens when you. Oh, there you go, and that's it. The Miami Heat.
Jamal Murray got to
barely escape in a 3. They get out of there and get one win on Denver's floor, which they absolutely had to do to make this interesting.
To do it today.
And now it's 111 to 108, and now Denver understands that. Oh yeah, that's right. These guys are pretty good.
And Jokic had 41 points tonight.
But remember what I said about the X factor, man. It wasn't Jokic. Jokic will get his right, but look what they did. They made him a scorer. He only had 4 assists, right? You're okay with Jokic being a scorer, and that's what you got to do. Just don't.
It's when he gets into those double-digit assists is when it becomes a little more of a nightmare.
Right, exactly. And then why are they showing the clock for? What are they trying to say? The clock? Why are we watching anyway? But
yeah.
The other thing is Jamal Murray only had about 13 points this game.
Yeah, he was a non-factor in this game.
Yeah, he didn't have much of a game, and Miami has a way of making it difficult on your wings, which they've done against Tatum and Brown. So I expect them to get the same treatment back when they go back to Miami. But this thing's tied 1-1, and now it's a series.
Yep, it absolutely is. Now if Miami can steal 2 on their home court, yo.
The other thing to keep in mind is
It'd be interesting.
Denver hasn't really been challenged, to be honest with you folks. The first round.
Yeah, they've kind of ran through the Western Conference playoffs.
Yeah, they haven't been challenged. They didn't win a game. They didn't lose a game last series. They only lost, I think, was it 1 or 2 games? 1 game before that. They played a depleted Clippers team and 2 games.
2 games against the Suns and 1 game against the Clippers.
Yep. So this is for sure a game. For sure a game.
Oh shit! No, who did Denver play? Denver didn't play the Clippers.
I thought they did. I thought they did play the Clippers.
No.
I thought they played the Clippers then the Suns.
Oh, you're probably
I
right.
thought they did. I'll go back and check. But yeah, I thought they played the injured Clippers and then the injured Suns. So, all right.
Yeah, I'm happy for Shannon Sharp.
Yeah, man.
You're not going somewhere where you've been disrespected.
Seriously.
As a player, to say the least.
Yeah, man. Because especially since Skip Bayless has never played a game of, I don't know, a professional game of any sport in his entire life.
Yeah,
So
and he's got the nerve to call athletes out the way he does, man. Like that's where you got to draw the line. Like I know everyone talks about the between when he told Shannon Sharp that he wasn't a great football player
right,
compared to Tom Brady,
right,
and it's like you can't tell somebody that,
right,
especially a guy who's got 3 Super Bowls and is in the Hall of Fame.
right. He's not a
and put
quarterback.
in
He's
his
a
time
tight
in-
end, number one.
Exactly. You're comparing 2 different positions. Like, stop that.
Yeah, it's just reviews.
Drives me nuts, man.
Yeah, you should have just punched him and then left.
That would have been great. Or thrown something at him, or flipped the desk.
Oh yeah,
Something, man. That'd have been worth it.
him. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
please. Other than that, I think
that's,
you got anything else?
That's all we got, man. That's all we got. Well, folks, we're gonna.
That wasn't bad. Got to watch the rest.
Yeah,
of the
we actually did some
play
play-by-play right there. You know, we gotta do that more often. Start doing play-by-play.
Start doing.
Yeah, no, some
Start
reaction.
doing a live broadcast.
Yeah,
What.
get some live reaction going on the game. So, well, folks, we appreciate you joining us again. Again, if this is your first time listening to us, please subscribe. If you're a subscriber, please like the video. We appreciate it. Hit that notification button as well. Until next time, until next week, where we'll probably be close to the end of the finals, even though the finals has 2 games in between, unlike the rest of the series. We'll reconvene on Sunday next week, same time, same place. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful week. We out.
Take care, everyone.
Late.
Late.